Hello guys, how yous doing? It's 2017. Welcome to my first hangout of 2017. How yous doing anyway? Glad to see yous. Just thought I'd do a little hangout since Globebusters are on holiday for 2 weeks. They'll probably try to build another party balloon or something like that. Anyway, how yous doing? I was just listening to Martin's hangout with PK. I was going to do this earlier, but I thought I'll have a wee listen to Martin's hangout, give him the benefit of the doubt, because I've listened to that PK in the past, and he was good at first. But he went down the same road as Russian vids and Jungle Surfer. Like when he starts saying that certain lookalikes are nae dead and they're Bill Hicks or Alex Jones or stuff like that. Anyway, there's a few things been happening in Flat Earth recently I've been keeping my eye on. 3chan Light got sniped. Osman sniped that chat. It was getting a bit. It's just the way 3chan is. 3chan are too. Osman wants proper answers and truth, and 3chan try to patter around it all, and they're obviously flat Earth sympathisers. The 3chan channel, so it's like talking to a brick wall. So Tim shut it down. I think he was getting muted. Actually, he was getting muted for GK. It's like an orange peel holding an orange. It's a Dutch lassie, but she kept muting Tim. So I think Tim went fuck this and just chucked everyone out. Then I seen another hangout yesterday. It was on the 3chan channel. It wasn't 3chan Light. It was just 3chan, and it had Gem Panda, Osman, Yvette. Had everyone in it. Snack to the Future. And as soon as it came to the discussion about star rotations, Yvette went in a huff. Yvette from 3chan, she went in a huff with Tim, and then as soon as she went in a huff, Snack appeared, and he went in a huff. Then I'm sure one of them closed the whole hangout down. It was nothing to do with Tim, I don't think, because Tim was, I think he was in the mid conversation when it shut down. So Snack and Yvette they just control every narrative. Anyway, Yvette, she's meant to be a maths major, and Tim Osman was trying to explain the star, how the stars rotate in different hemispheres. And Yvette, she used an analogy she's used for months now, and I don't know, like for a maths major, I don't know how she doesn't get this. But when she was saying it in the hangout, I kind of worked it out right away. She says, do this with your arms, put them forward. So everybody put your arms up, do that, roll them forward, like you're doing an exercise. That's what she said. Forward, right? Then she says, look left, and you'll see your hand going clockwise. Look right, and you see your hand going anti-clockwise. And she says, see, you can see both. But she doesn't understand that the perspective, you aren't a giant head floating in space. And she was nearly right. She kind of had the right idea. It's a good way to figure it out that way. But she kind of proved the globe by doing that. So if you think about it, guys, right? Do your arms forward like that in a circle, right? And then tilt like that. So you're going round, right? Now put a person on the end of the finger looking up at both sides, at both fingertips, turning round. When they look up at the sky, one will be going anti-clockwise and one will be going clockwise. So Yvette practically debunked herself. Like the mistake she made was putting her perspective as the head in the middle. And really, her perspective should have been on the end of the fingertip, looking at the sky. But this is the kind of analogies they try to use for simple people to get them to go, that's how the star trails work. Because when you do that with your arms, that looks clockwise, that looks anti-clockwise, so that makes sense. No, it's no. It's nothing to do with that. And this is what's really, I began 2016 more edging towards, I preferred the flat earth scene. I liked it. I liked the discussions. I liked the science, the investigations. But after a while, I realized that they've ran out of good stuff to argue about. And a lot of the stuff they have argued about has been debunked. So I've seen all that. I've witnessed it all. And so I started 2016 anti-NASA. I didn't believe in satellites, stuff like that. So that attracted me to the flat earthers because I was looking for, well, who else is talking about NASA being fake and satellites being fake? Because I was thinking about it before I even thought about flat earth. So when I started looking, I found the NASA channel. I was like, the NASA channel. And then it had a guy talking about fake NASA. And I was like, wait a minute. This is kind of what I'm thinking. And he's talking about flat Earth. I was like, flat Earth, where? Anyway, he's talking fake NASA. That keeps my interest. So he obviously spoke about the painting or photo, and we know now it was neither. It's a composite. It's various images stuck together because they can only go so high. They can only get a fraction of the curve to piece together into a whole ball. That's the secret. That's the psyop, that they can't get high enough to get a whole picture of the Earth. They might even get a third of the Earth, but they'll never get a whole full complete picture of Earth. And because they send satellites up, no satellites, sorry, weather balloons up every day to take readings. This is probably where most of our satellite information comes from, is these weather balloons. They've probably got different kinds of weather balloons. Anyway, guys, I hope you had a good new year. I had a quiet one. That's what happens when you get old and you have kids and you have a wife. My wife was actually working night shift. She's a nurse. She works in the hospital, so busy night. But a few things were happening. The vet thing, when she went in half with her crap analogy, she just made herself look stupid. She left. This is somebody that boasts having a maths major. Then Snack came on, he got in half, and I think he shut it down. Another thing I seen was a video by what's his name? The tomfoolery of the International Space Stage. If you've not seen this guy's channel, check it out. When I heard his interview with JLB, that's when I realised this guy was a serious contender, a serious candidate to be a decent voice amongst this arena. He doesn't have to be a flat earther or a glober, he just has to be a truthful, sceptical voice. And I heard that in that interview with JLB. And this guy, the tomfoolery of the International Space Station, he's in the chat now. He made a video about Bob. And Bob was in 3chan giving out JLB's real name. What was that all about? Is this what flat earthers come down to? Petty Bob putting people's personal details into the chat. But it didn't surprise me. Tomfoolery seemed quite aghast by it all. I've seen this behaviour before, Tom, by Bob, and this is what made me question his integrity. Because when you see somebody acting the way they do in the chat, speaking the way they do, like wee kid, pee pants and all this crap, you're like, what kind of person is this? What kind of person is this? So Bob's giving out JLB's information. Well, what the fuck? What's wrong with you, Bob? Grow up. You're meant to be, how old are you? 50? 60? You're a granddad. You look like a granddad. And you're trying to give out JLB's information. And I'm glad tomfoolery highlighted this issue, because a lot of these people think they can go in the chat rooms and get away with it all, because chat, you see it once and it goes away. And these people like Bob, the Globebusters, think they can say smarmy little things. Same with Nathan and who else, smarmy little things, and it'll just drift away. They don't know that people with half a brain will take screenshots, video record it, whatever, and make a video of it. But they're that stupid. They're so fucking stupid, these people. So it's just going to be an interesting year, guys. It's going to be an interesting year. Obviously, I got into the flat Earth looking at the fake photographs of Earth. That's what really got my interest. When I started examining the photos of Earth, I did see the Photoshop clouds. I did see the cloned clouds, and I could do it myself. I can do all that stuff in Photoshop myself. I've got a video where I actually show people how to delete a cloud, like rub it out, grab a cloud from another part of the Earth and clone it by using the cloning tool in Photoshop, and it's so easy to do. So that really got me thinking, what are they hiding? What are NASA hiding? And it pushed me towards flat Earth. It was like, it's flat Earth. Well, that's how I felt. It was like, what are they hiding? What are they hiding? It never occurred to me that they're hiding the fact that they can't get that high. They can only get so far up. I just got dragged into the whole flat Earth. So I was at the beginning of last year. I wasn't a flat earther, but I was a flat Earth proponent, and I preferred what the flat earthers were saying compared to the people that supported NASA. But now, at the beginning of 2017, I'm not the opposite. I still think NASA's bullshit. I'm still not sure about satellites. I have seen lights flying across the sky, really high up and faster than any plane, and it's not been a comet. So I think there is something up there that could be satellites, but I'm still skeptical about that. I'm skeptical about the ISS. I think the ISS could be some sort of craft flying around up there with nobody in it, just a shell, just something for people to look at. But there's not that many things now that I think convinces me of flat Earth. I've went through them all now. There was lots of things back in the day, but nowadays, looking through it all, it's really narrowed itself down to a few things, and that was like your own observations. Everywhere you look, it's flat. One of my first videos I made about the flat Earth, I went down to the Forth and set up my camera on a tripod, and I could see the tankers. There's a ferry lane, and they go the same route across the Forth. And I was looking at them, and I noticed an island in the distance, and I was zooming into the island, and then I checked on Google Maps, and I thought it was a certain island. I can't even remember the name of it now. And this island was meant to be, I think it was meant to be 60 miles away. So I posted up my video on YouTube. Island 60 miles away, shouldn't be able to be seen because it's not a high island, and I was really low to the sea. So I thought, this is proof. This is flat. And somebody came into my comments and said, no, you've got it wrong. Look at the Google map. Look at this. Look at that. Blah blah blah. And at first, I didn't want to look at his stuff because I thought I'd done some good work. I'd spent the day out on the beach doing my filming. I didn't want to look at it first. I thought, nah, this is right. But then I went down for a second experiment, and I set up my tripod, and I couldn't see that island. The one I thought I could see, and the one the guy was saying was visible, and I was like, oh my God. So I took down my video. I was like, that's not genuine. If it could be refraction, it could have been a mirage. There's too many variables to try and measure any kind of curve in the ocean. It's our eyes are so limited, and there's so many variables with the atmospheric conditions of the moisture and stuff like that, especially in Scotland. We've practically got 80-90% humidity. It's always moist, the air. So I felt like that video wasn't good enough. So that was someone debunked me, but I kind of took it on the chin and I took it down. And I looked into other things, like there's a thing called IceCat in Norway. It creates northern lights. I thought that could be something to do with flat Earth. Done a few videos. I caught Bubbles with Tim Peake coming out his glove with his first spacewalk. I've not seen any other videos about it, but I've done a video on that. I was doing really good stuff, and then these flat Earth charlatans show up, and it derailed me. It took me off my research. It got me into the drama, and you're selling this, and you're a charlatan, and you're pushing Satanism, and you're pushing this, and it's totally took me off my proper research, my real research. And when there's so many charlatans in this scene that we can see, guys, it's obvious there's so many charlatans. We've not got enough fingers and toes to count them on. Let's get it right here. How many people do we actually trust in flat Earth? I mean, top brass. I didn't trust any of them. None of them. It's like, so when there's a scene with so many charlatans, it just becomes obvious it's some kind of psyop or some kind of social experiment where money is to be made as well. There's money to be made in this. I've seen that Antonio's tried to create another map. It looks a wee bit different for the one he tried to push the other time. Africa is not as straight to Australia. But what he's done is copied the Gleasons and moved Australia a few degrees. It's So you've got charlatans like that, like Patricia Steer, like Bob, Jeranism, them all, pushing crap and pushing false lies. So anyway, I've done a wee bit of research. I'm going to screen share some stuff I found, stuff that I've researched in the past, and I've looked at myself, but I thought I would share it with you guys because maybe you have not got the time, or you are not sure what to type to do the research. But like I said at the beginning, there was a few things that convinced me of flat Earth, and that was what you could see, the water at the beach. I thought the fake photographs was for flat Earth, but really that's nothing to do with flat Earth. So it was the water at the beach, what you could see, because everything looked flat. But now I know that our eyes are limited. Anything, like even optical equipment's limited. So I started finding more for the globe, and without going through NASA stuff. Like I didn't have to look at NASA stuff or look at governmental stuff to find proof of a globe. I didn't have to read books from Cambridge. I didn't have to. That's the thing. These people in flat Earth will say, "Oh, this is lies." Galileo, Cambridge, the Royal Society, all these places are lies, lies, lies. But if you look on YouTube, there's independent researchers, people that love photography, people that love the stars, looking at the stars or the moon, the planet. There's people that just do this as a hobby and film it. They film it, they make time lapse of it, and it's nothing to do with government, nothing to do with NASA, and we can look at it, and we can watch it, and we can use it for our own knowledge. And I found it. I found the star rotations, and there's millions of it. It just depends how good quality you want to see these rotations of the stars. And what you need to remember, guys, you can't see the North Star from anywhere below the equator. Like you can't see the North Star from the south. You can't see the North Star from Australia. You can't see the North Star from South America or South Africa. You can't see the North Star. If it was flat, you would be able to see. But this is what they're saying now. It's a projection. That's what they do. It's an easy way out. When they can't explain, like Antonio can build a map all day long, but when you say, well, how do the stars work on your map? It's a projection. It's a projection. It's they make up some bullshit. Same with lunar eclipses. When you really get down to the nitty-gritty about lunar eclipses with these people, and you can show them where the sun is, you can use these programs now, like what's it called, the celestial stuff. You can check where the sun is and the moon is each day. You can track them now. So the lunar eclipse, you can check that the sun's on the opposite side of the moon when the shadow's being cast on the moon. When you can see the Earth's shadow on the moon, you can check that the sun's on the opposite side. And it's clear to see, and you can debunk it any day. But what did the top flat earthers guys do, like Bob or anybody, even Dubé? What did they do? They make up shit. They make up shit like Rahu, a black fucking sun. Come on, guys, a black sun floating around up there. Again, and even Martin said, and Martin, good on him for even stating it, that if there was a black sun going about up there, wouldn't it black out certain stars that we see? Anyway, guys, hope you've had a good new year. I know I'm getting on a bit of blether, but I'm being hyped up for all the crap I've seen. Yvette wear Star Trails. She's meant to be a mass major. She wear arms like that. I thought, God, you debunked yourself, Yvette. Well done. I'm going to have a look at chat, see who's on. Okie dokie, guys. Before I screen share and look at the wee bits of time lapse I've found, have a look at some names. Right, we have the lovely Laurie Gale as usual. We have AJC, we have Sins Camillo, we have P Mars, we have David Sawyer, we have Richard Clark, Earth Sweetheart, Timaeus, Satan, Timaeus, David Sawyer, 234 Cheech. Since Camillo, spark one up, Jed. You said it all. You said it all. J39, Flat Earthers New Year resolutions. Research, no contradictions, no fallacious arguments, no lying, admit when wrong, no name calling. YouTube, Jeremy, if you're here, I said, I'm not going to actually talk about YouTubes because he just blethers on and on. The tomfoolery, saying the sky isn't the ground isn't very good argument. If a table is flat, the sky would be flat. If the sky was around a ball, the sky would be a ball. Validation boy, VB, Gem Panda, Happy New Year, Jed. Happy New Year, Gem Panda. Since Camillo, ha ha ha, so true, Jed. David Sawyer, Jed, we've never been to space. Marshall Moulinars, no, it's no globe. Earth Sweetheart, VB in the house. Hey friends, hey VB, everyone loves VB. We need a hangout from you, VB. What's wrong with my hangouts? God, I'm trying to fill the gaps for all these slackers, man. David Sawyer, VB, tell this guy Jed, TED Talks, that we don't live in a spinning ball. Laurie Gale, smiley face. Jeremy, hope you're listening, Ute. YouTube, Jem, I replied here. Gem Panda, Happy New Year, Laurie. Angel Raven. Chris Rock, hello all, good day. Gem Panda, I can't be arsed to argue this here. Sweetheart, hey Chris. Laurie Gale, hey Chris. Hey Chris. Hi Tracy, Rock, says Chris Rock. Lots of people are today. Since Camillo. Validation boy, Jed is filling the gaps for my slack ass. Gem Panda, I don't like to do it, chat. Chris Rock, hi Angel. Kins Camillo, Jed, do you ever frequent the Hug and Pint? No, I don't, since Camillo, and I've not heard of it either. Sweetheart, lol VB, Jeremy or Gem Panda, I can't type well. Laurie Gale, yes, he has been VB. Angel Raven, lol. Richard Cluck, hey Chris. Chris Rock, Jed will simply read this like a robot. Right, guys. I can see everybody's doing good. Hey, there's Nightbot. How you doing? Someone scrap the Nightbot, please. Validation bot, possibly going live tomorrow night. Delay, Ohio. I was drunk on Jed's Christmas chat. YouTube, Jeremy, I type faster than I can talk. It's probably copy and paste YouTube. 234 Cheech, Telly Proctor, Nightbot, police watching you. Hi Chris, I'll check it out. Right, I'm glad to see you all tonight. Give my video a like. As we can see, the trolls are being here. Right, so, like I was saying earlier, there was a few things that were making me look at the flat Earth, and that was the fact that it looked flat, the fact that the photos of Earth were fake, the fact that the water looked flat, because I done some experiments myself, but then when I redone my experiment, I had different results, so I couldn't conclude that was genuine facts. So there was quite a few things making, but now what's making me lean towards the globe or the spherical shape is star trails in the sky. And as much as you want to ignore them, but that's just an easy way out. Like I was saying before, it's just an easy way out. You say to Dell from what's he called? Beyond the Imaginary Curve. You say, well, what about the sky? Dell? I don't live in the sky. Well, the sky is still part of your reality at the end of the day. Like I said, you want to just walk about with your head down. You need to look up. That's the way to figure out a reality in the sky. The sky has always been the guide. It's always told us what's going on, and it's still telling us. Like they were saying about the North Star, the North Star is only the North Star because it's the closest star to Earth's axis, northern axis point. And same with the Southern Star. There's not a real southern star. It's just the star that's closest to the southern axis on Earth. And they change. They change. I think the northern constellation, I think it'll change into Draco, or it was Draco, and it'll change into something else. But they change. They change. But there's definitely different rotations in different parts of the world. When you're in the northern hemisphere, it's anti-clockwise. The stars rotate anti-clockwise. When you're in the southern hemisphere, the stars rotate clockwise, and you can check on YouTube through thousands and thousands of images, videos, time lapse. Nothing to do with NASA, nothing to do with governments, nothing to do, just normal people. I've done long exposure photography. My first attempt, it was all right, but the amount of stars you can capture that you don't see with the human eye, when you keep your finger on that shutter and keep it open for 30 seconds, a minute, then let it click. The amount of stars and light that you can capture. So this bullshit about pyramids lining up to stars, I could throw Skittles over the other side of the room, point with my finger and turn around, and I'm probably pointing at one Skittle on the floor somewhere. If there's that many or something, and you've got something pointing towards it, it's going to be pointed at something. It's like, oh, what? How are the pyramids pointing at these stars? It's like, you could put people about just putting their arm up like that, and they'll be pointing at a star. You could probably get all the people in the world out to point up at the sky, and they'll be pointing at a star. So to me, the stars are important, guys. They're not just projections. They're not just projections. I've looked at the stars, and the nebulas as well. Like, you've got other things called nebulas. They're not just stars. They're like clouds. They're like clusters. Even Orion's belt, you can clearly see it. If you look up at Orion and you see the three stars at Orion's belt, and you look down, you see the sword, the middle part. Well, there's like a wee orange blob. I got a decent photograph, but when I zoomed in, you could see that the blob wasn't like the other stars. It was like a little cluster. Oh, it was amazing. So these stars are there, and they're there all year round, like clockwork. So for Flat Earth, just to write it out, they like to introduce other things, so like Rahu. They want to introduce Rahu, but they'll write out star rotation. They'll think it's cool to talk about Ragu, but they'll think it's no cool to talk about what way the stars turn. Anyway, guys, I'm going to do a wee bit of screen sharing just to show you what convinced me. I know a lot of people haven't got the time. Like I said, not a lot of people. It probably won't even come up in your recommendations because you've looked at so much Flat Earth that in your recommendations it'll just be another Flat Earth video, and you just click instead of looking at anything that opposes Flat Earth. I got like that. I got to the point where I was looking at just Flat Earth stuff, and anything that was like debunk Flat Earth, I was like, get away, and I would move on to the next Flat Earth thing. But that's what keeps you going round in circles until you start being truthful to yourself and looking at the empirical evidence. You can do it yourself. I'm going to show you footage tonight of my own lunar eclipse footage. And it's amazing, guys. And once you learn the difference between moon phases and lunar eclipses, there's no doubt that's the shadow of the Earth. Crazy stuff. But anyway, this is what convinces me. And so we've got the star rotations. That's what convinces me. The lunar eclipse, when you see the shadow on the moon, that's the Earth's shadow. So that's quite a biggie for me. I wouldn't, when Dell went through the top 10, that's like a pure, that's amateur top 10. Another one's the sunset. On the map that Antonio built, he says the sun spirals and moves up and down and round and up and down. And well, this sun should be changing shape. It should be going elliptical or something. We should notice these things, but we don't. We see the sun rising in the east, setting in the west, rising in the east, setting in the west. And it's the same with Orion in the wintertime. Orion actually follows the same pattern in the sky, like the sun. It rises in the east, sets in the west. All these things. And the only thing that really got me was, and I think it's still getting Tim as well, but it's like, are we spinning or are the heavens spinning around us, sort of thing. And I think it's a bit of both. We are spinning and the heavens are moving kind of as well. But it's been interesting, guys, and it's still interesting. I'm still trying to find stuff, especially with the NASA stuff, like this whole Mars missions and crap like that. It's stupid. Anyway, I'll show you some star rotation footage. Wonder if Martin's still talking. Oh, it just finished. Martin's one just finished. God, that was miserable, eh, guys? That Peaky, he's a miserable git, him. Chemtrails, it's like spiderwebs. He's a fucking scaremonger, man. All these guys. And they must be stooping to a new low nowadays. He wants to go into a flat earth channel, but no talk about flat earth. What a loser. What a fucking loser. Oh God, here's John Watson. Chris, I see ballers trolling FE on FB, then promote piss drinking. Hypocrites. It's fake Jed, wasting your time. Oh, here was another thing as well. The transit of Mercury. So guys, the planet Mercury made a transit in 2016. It went past the sun. Mercury is our closest planet to the sun. You've got the sun, then you've got Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. But the thing about, because what's strange about Mercury is that it doesn't glow like Venus. It almost looks like a moon. But it's pretty close to the sun here. And this was an amateur one. There was different NASA ones and stuff like that. But this was a sort of amateurish one. This was done with an amateur camera. There's really clear ones where you see really clear and crisp, but what's the point of showing you that, guys? You'd be like, oh, that's fake, that's fake. So I've tried to find an amateur, like a amateur. This was Guy's first time. I would pretend to, right. So this is a guy called Michael Giuliano. He's only got 7 subs, but he done the transit of Mercury. That's it down here. I think. Aye, I think that's Mercury there. Right. Here it is here, Mercury. These up here are sunspots. You see they're sort of smudgy. So anyway, guys, my whole point is you could see Mercury in front of the sun. So if this is a flat plane with the sun spiraling above our heads, is there a planet spiraling around it as well? Really, really tiny, like the size of a tennis ball or something? Because if the... Oh, God. If you think about it, if the Earth's... How big's the sun meant to be in flat Earth? It's like 30 miles wide or something. Anyway, there's something... These kind of things, like planets transiting in front of the sun, I don't get it. Right, anyway. This, guys, is by a channel called Pat McManaman. He's only got 3 subs. He's got a Canon TFI 50mm f1.8 10-second exposure. So I was doing mine for 30, and it was picking up too much light to the point where the black was turning grey. But I learned. Anyway, this is Pat McManaman, and this is looking at Polaris. Better mute it just in case. As you can see here, guys, Polaris. And look at where it's turning. This is anti-clockwise. So Polaris, all the stars are turning anti-clockwise in Polaris. You can see this here, guys. And this isn't NASA, this is just an amateur time lapse. You can see everything's turning anti-clockwise. Right. So that was Polaris photography by Pat McManaman. And this is a Southern Cross night sky time lapse. So watch this, guys. I'll mute it as well because you can see here, guys, everything's going clockwise. Everything's turning that way. And you can check, there's thousands and thousands of videos. There's a northern versus southern hemisphere. I've seen this one. This is quite a good one as well. So this begins obviously with the northern. You can tell now everything's going anti-clockwise because this is the northern hemisphere. And that's it. That's it, leaving the trails. So you can see, guys, everything's going anti-clockwise. And there's this most center point. That looks like the Milky Way. But this is obviously still northern hemisphere because it's going anti-clockwise again. That's obviously Polaris here. This is anti-clockwise, guys. Oh, you can see this is, I was going to say I wasn't sure about that one, but that's more on the equator. You see this is when the equator, this is when you want to do a vet study, like tilt your head and move your arms left and right. So you can see here, this is more on the equator. And this is obviously the southern hemisphere. You can see everything's turning clockwise. So we had the northern hemisphere turning anti-clockwise. We had the equator, where you've seen like everything's sort of getting split into two. And then you can see here in the southern hemisphere, everything's turning clockwise. So if you put all these things together, you can't be living on a flat earth, guys. It just can't work. These things can't work. And this is why guys like Bob and many other people are saying that the sky is just a projection, because that's the only way they can get out of it. And it's bullshit. And this isn't fake, guys. There's thousands and thousands and thousands. You can do it yourself. You can do this yourself, guys. So that was a beautiful video by Stuart Jungerius. So these are These are things that make me convinced that we're living on a sphere, guys. It's just one of these things. And if you ignore it, if you just continue to ignore it, it'll niggle away at you. I heard about the stars when I was more into the flat earth side, and I kind of put on the back foot. I didn't put on the back foot, but the first answer that came up for it, I kind of accepted. I was like, that's good enough for me. When really, it wasn't. So that's the biggest one, guys. And for people to just say we don't live in the sky and the sky's not it's just a cop-out. It's a total cop-out, guys. Right, anyway, I'll have a wee look at chat, see who's all in. Hope you're having a great night. Hope you've enjoyed Martin's chat. Hope it was riveting. I hope he's got scared at your boots with all the fake news. Star Trails are CGI. Right, we have Since Camillo still. All fake, Jed. Says J39. Agree with both statements, David. Laurie. People, I know flat earthers, this is hard for you to see. This stabs you in the heart when you see stuff like this. I know, but you've got to accept it sometimes, guys. You can't ignore this. And if you don't agree with me, guys, if you think this is bullshit, go away and do your own research and disprove what I just showed you. Disprove that the stars rotate in different hemispheres. Disprove that, and I really will take it on board, guys. I really will. But all I hear is holograms. Mr. B, lol, rock lover. I like this hangout. VB, Crow, Jeffs, and Conspiracy Mystics. That's it. Laura Gale, I appreciate that. Thank you. J39, lol. Angel Raven, I'm getting tripped out. Thanks, Vinny, says our sweetheart. P Mars, 2 disco balls above the curved plane. Aye, sure. Chris Rock, looks like a drift. They lie Ohio. The upper stars will go to the right. Must be a rock lover. Besides, they're the only ones I'm not barred on. Well, like I said earlier, guys, I was listening to a hangout with Tim Osman and Yvette. And Tim Osman was trying to explain what I just showed you guys about the stars. And if you've missed the beginning, I'll go through it again. I feel a bit stupid doing it. But put your arms out and rotate them forward like that, guys. Because there's a lot more viewers than now. Rotate them forwards, right? And Yvette, this is how Yvette explained the star trails. Why they move in different motions. She says, right, now move your arms forward, both hands forward, like that, circular motions. Now look to the left, and you see that your left hand is going clockwise. And look to the right, and you see your right hand's going anti-clockwise. So that's just how the star trails work. And it's like, but we're not a giant head floating on the equator. What she should have said, and what is right, is circle your arms like that. She was right by doing that. Now tilt it like that and pretend that's the Earth's axis and keep doing the circles with your hands. Keep doing the circles with your hands forward, right? Now, as you're doing the circles with your hands, put a person on top of the finger, looking up. A tiny little person. Put them looking up as you're circling, both hands. And that person will see the stars rotate in opposite directions. Simple as that. Yvette, with your maths major, think about that for a wee while. That's the difference. About artists, we can actually visualize it. We can actually, I don't know how she can't understand that. Weird, very weird. Right. Earth is football street, like Stu Griffin's head. A wee bit. I think it's close to that. I can't work on globe, Jed. No problem, Chris Rock. Go back to the flat earth. Richard Clark. Hey, PD. Angel Raven. Take me to your leader. Propaganda Destroyer. Hello, Richard. Laura Gale. Jed, you should talk with Chris Rock. But Chris Rock can't work on a globe, so David Sawyer, of course, Jed, people in the southern regions aren't going to see Polaris straight above. They will see whatever star point is the focal point of the observer. Right. Hidden Rambo, atmosphere, electromagnetism, both distort. Have a look at Earth Null School net and look at the atmosphere in AE. It will make sense. But that's nothing to do with the stars, really. Right. So we've looked at... This was an interesting one I've seen, guys, as well. Shit. Mute him. But with Orion, you can find where north is. You can find your directions by looking at Orion. It's crazy. But like I said earlier, Orion rises like the sun. It rises like the sun, like that. So when you see Orion like this, obviously recognizable with the 3 stars in the middle and the sword in the middle here, guys. And that's his like shoulders and his feet, but it's more like an hourglass shape. But when you see the stars like this, on a tilt, you know that this is east because it's the same pattern and it's low on the horizon. So you know that this is easternly. This is an easterly. If you see Orion in the sky like this is east, right? And the more upright he is, the more straighter his sword is to the ground, the more south he is. So right here, you can imagine that's his shoulders. There's his arm, his legs, his sword. I call it his crotch. So that looks like his crotch. Right now, it's facing straight down, standing straight up. So this is south. You see at the bottom here, south. This is south because it looks like he's standing straight up. And when he's like that, it looks like he's falling down. His crotch is facing this way, the stars. And this is to the west. So there's a clever way to... It's kind of acts like the sun at night time. Crazy. Same again. Orion's one of my favourite constellations. Huge constellation. So we can do a wee game here, guys. We can see the crotch is nearly pointing straight down. It's at a wee bit of an angle. He's on a wee bit of tilt. So I could confidently say that this is probably southeast. This direction is southeast. Same again, you can see there's south. It looks like it's standing straight up and down. Well, it's nearly southwest. Nah, I'd say it's south. But that's just a wee thing I learnt, guys. If you didn't know that, you can tell what direction. So you can see here that this is directly south because he's standing straight up. His belt's going down, his crotch is going down. So you know right behind you is going to be north. You know directly behind you is going to be north when Orion's standing up like that. So that's just a wee trick, guys, a wee one I found. But you can find these time lapses everywhere, guys. These star trails. Everyone's doing them now because everyone can afford the equipment. Everyone can afford the cameras now to do this with. Everyone can look up a YouTube video to find out the settings for the camera. Before, you would be lost how to do these types of photography. Oh shit, am I screen sharing? I bet I'm not even screen sharing. Fucking hell. Right, I'll need to screen share. I just got rid of the bloody what was it again? Fuck's sake, what one was it? I just went through a whole explanation about it, and you weren't even seeing it. Oh, here it is here, guys. Right. As you can see, guys, this is one of our favourite constellations, and I was explaining earlier, but you've never seen it. And I wasn't looking at chat to see if you screaming at me, Jed, we can't see it. Anyway, you all probably recognise this constellation, Orion's belt with the 3 stars. You can see his belt, his crotch, sorry, that's meant to be his sword. I call these his feet, like his shoulders, and you see like where his bow comes. But anyway, this is how to find north using Orion's belt. But like you can see Orion's belt here. It's close to the horizon, but it's on a really hard tilt. It looks like he's falling over. So we know this is east. Like I said earlier, guys, it copies the sun. Orion comes up over the horizon from the east, goes up, then comes down in the west. Here, you can see Orion, it's slightly tilted. So this is more southeast rather than east. This is more southeast because he's beginning to rise a bit more and he's not as tilted to the side. Here, when you see Orion like this, I just see it as that's his shoulders, his feet, his belt, and his sword. But I call it his crotch. It's like his crotch, yeah. But if his crotch is facing straight down, the 3 stars are facing straight down, it looks like he's standing straight up. This is south. You know when you're looking at the sky that this is south. So if you're looking at the sky, north is directly behind you. If you're lost and you wanted to find north, obviously the North Pole Star, getting the North Star, but this is a way you can find it as well, because the Orion constellation actually acts like a sun. It rises in the east, sets in the west. Crazy, man, crazy. So you can see here, his crotch it's no straight up and down, it's on a wee bit of an angle, but he's just coming into the south. So he's kind of southeast here. South. He's up there again, he's south. See at the bottom there, S, straight up and down. You can see now he's starting to tilt over, he's starting to fall over. His crotch isn't straight up and down anymore. The 3 stars aren't straight up and down. These ones, they aren't straight up and down. So now you know it's tilting more to the west. It's starting to set like the sun. It's starting to act like a sun. And this one here, I'm sure one of these stars is called Betelgeuse. And is it Rebulus or Robulus? It's a crazy constellation. I like the nebula, the Orion Nebula on the sword. So you can see here, guys, he's starting to tilt away from south. He's starting to go more to the west. So he's just leaving south, going to, so it's about southwest here. This one here, you tell he's just beginning to become south. So he's about southeast. You learn something new every day, yeah? There you go. Again, this is south. You see the S down there? So I thought that was interesting, guys. I thought it was a nice bit of information, because I see Orion's Belt every winter. I always stare at Orion's Belt. It's an amazing constellation. Anyway, this is one of my most unpopular videos. I published this when I was actually into the whole NASA and stuff like that. Still only had 20 views. But this is my own footage. The blood moon eclipse. Like I said, guys, the sun is directly behind me. That's not Rahu. That's the Earth. The moon is moving into the Earth's shadow. This is my own footage. There's obviously going to be a penumbra. We'll go back to the early. This ain't moon phases. This is the Earth moving in. This is the moon moving into the Earth's shadow. You see here? Curve. It's not going to be a sharp curve. That wouldn't make sense. That would mean the sun's really close. It'd have to be like a penumbra, like a blur, a blurry shadow around it. Because you get different kinds of shadow. You get sharp shadows, and you get like blurry shadows depending on how far away the light is from the object. But yeah, you can see here, there's something spherical blocking the sunlight. There's something spherical blocking the sunlight. Anyway, I'm going to go to the toilet, have a wee break. I'll be back in 5 minutes. I'll just play this whole video. So, guys, that was my lunar eclipse from 2015. When you look back on it, I can't deny that there's a spherical shadow on the fucking moon, guys. It's just one of these things. I wish, when I was looking at the flat Earth, I wish it wasn't. I wish it was a fucking square. But these are the two major things that fucking. There's lots of other ones, but the two major ones is the star rotations and the lunar eclipse. Not a solar eclipse. I've got footage also of solar eclipse. I've took a solar eclipse video as well. It's on my other computer. But I've took footage of both these events. I didn't witness any fucking Rahu or anything abnormal. That's from the mainstream explanation of eclipse. Obviously, they're still pretty mysterious, the solar eclipse. Still amazing that the size, how they're exactly the same size. There's still a lot of mysterious things about eclipses, especially solar eclipses. But a lunar eclipse is quite self-evident what it is. It's just a shadow on the moon of Earth. And if there is a shadow of Earth on the moon, that means that Earth is a three-dimensional object in space. It can't be some kind of infinite plane or anything like that. It has to be like an object in space to cast that shadow on the moon. So, if anyone can come back to me and debunk a lunar eclipse, I heard, who was it? It was maybe even Bob for Globebusters. I heard him say, there's footage of a lunar eclipse with the sun and the sky at the same time. Well, I'd like to see that because I've never found that. If that was the case, and if it wasn't faked, you get these one-off videos like the lunar wave or some shit like that they think is solid proof, and it's one video, and they use it all fucking year, and it's just like some kind of camera distortion or some shit like that. Or even atmospherics. I'm looking at the wrong chat here, man. Right, who's left in? Who's still in? So, like I said, debunk the lunar eclipse and debunk the star trails, and I'll get really, I'll start swaying to the other side. But these are the big ones for me, guys. Right, I'll give everyone a little shout out. Muscle car rock lover. Patty is NSA, I hear, and Sarge is MOD. Laurie Gill, I could use a VB hangout where we just chill. Oh, is this too? This? I know it's too hard for flat earthers sometimes to face the truth. Oh, but sometimes, guys, you can't hide. You can't always bury your head in the sand. Sometimes you've got to take the come down, guys. You can't keep on the high. You can't just keep on the high. You have to handle the come down and cold turkey out of flat earth. Then you'll start seeing sense. If you keep taking the drug, you just keep the addiction going. You need to cold turkey. You need to start looking at a detox. You need looking at evidence, proper evidence. And it doesn't have to be NASA. It doesn't have to be governmental. If you don't want to go out with a camera and film the stars, there are millions of people around the earth doing it. And it's not to fulfill flat earth. It's just to fulfill their own pleasure and like photographing the night sky. Jed, you can get the same shadow with a circular plane. But is a plane 2D or 3D, Chris? You tell me. Oh, you meant DOD, Vinny. Lol. P Mars, the black sun causes eclipse. I fucking knew it. Rahu, the black sun, blah, 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 blah. That's just, show me proof for the black sun. Show me your claim. Bring me your claim. As Dale would say. Show me your black sun. Don't go through, the Vedic cosmology said this, or the ancient Tibetans said this, or the Indian monk in the mountain said this. Nah. Show me some fucking proof. Because I've done my own observable proof. I've just showed you a video I made with my own proof that is a curved shadow on the moon. And if I check timeanddate.com, the sun or the celestial software, I would find the sun was exactly directly behind me, behind Earth. The black sun is a metaphor for the butthole. Cheech, they do just that. P Mars, that's probably true, son. Like the rebel. Chris Rock, has Jed not seen the lunar footage with the wrong angle and curve. Oh my God. I've showed you the reason, guys, why I showed you my footage, because I was just showing you that I've done my own observations, with my own eyes, right? There is plenty lunar eclipse footage out there on YouTube. There's so much. So much. I only showed you mine because that's my own experiment, my own observations. I could easily find better, more high definition, crisper, clearer lunar eclipses to show you the curve if you want, Chris. David Sawyer, doesn't show what that shadow was, and you didn't show the footage. What? Flat Earth British was a good talk. So, guys, how was PK Truth? What did you think of him? I was watching him over a year ago, and actually, I think there's a video out there. Ah, is this it? Oh, this is the one here, guys. Coincidentally, it was up there in my timeline. So this is another channel, guys. There's quite a few channels. I know I done a list of top brass shills, right? But I've also got channels I do like. And this guy called the Paul Stall Service is a channel I do like and I do watch, and I find them pretty genuine, pretty genuine. It's hard to find a fault in this channel. But like I said, I'll give a shout out to the Paul Stall Service, who's doing a great job. I'll give a shout out to the Tom Foolery of the International Space Stage. He's doing great work right now. It's taking screenshots of just total bullshit from Bob in chat and making videos. That's the way to expose these people. So good on Tom. GLB, I definitely recommend GLB. Validation Boy. Validation Boy is always a recommendation from Jed Skeptic Media. There's another channel called Deep Thoughts Radio. Deep Thoughts Radio. It's like a black and white image. I've recommended this guy in the past, but this guy, he hits on every subject and he can articulate it like a genius. This guy is amazing. He's amazing. I don't always agree with everything he says, but he doesn't always state everything he says is true. He just tells you it and makes you can go away, do your research, and come back with the opposite of what he said. And he'll say, cool, he'll look into that. He's the kind of guy you can bounce research off. He'll come back and he'll actually make a video about it if it's good enough. So I recommend Deep Thoughts Radio by Mark. He's amazing guy. Anyway, back to what was I saying? Hi, Martin. It's Martin in chat. How you doing, Martin? He just woke up, Musk. He's a top bloke, though. Martin, you think everyone's a top bloke. Be right back. 10 minutes. We all know the fakery. Duh. Paul Stall Service is a shill. HB Richard, yeah, he's good. Rock Lover, yes, I like PK. No. I'm not that keen on PK, to be honest, guys. Like I said, this was a video I saw by the Paul Stall Service. And it's interesting. It's interesting. You see this guy here with a patch in the eye, and that's fake. Totally fake. But I'll let you have a wee listen to it. Turn it up. But this was PK. When was this? October the 5th, 2016. Just interesting to watch pretty much every shill I have called out assemble like a Transformer character into a larger shill talk show. Who would have think a bunch of transparent COINTELPRO agents would ever combine forces to clear their names? And you'll recognize a few of these guys. This guy with a fake patch and that. And there's, was it Beyond the Veil? And there's David Weiss. David Weiss is in this as well. Beyond the Veil's here as well. That creepy guy is like, Anyway, I'll let you hear a wee bit of PK from an earlier rant he had.
It's just a pretty funny video. They're shitting their pants, and it's 5 of these people I know as known actors, and I've actually talked about. Russian vids used to upload my videos until I asked him to stop because I didn't believe in a lot of the other stuff he was saying, and then he started calling me a shill. PK22 made a few videos about him. He's the main subject in this video who kind of loses his cool. David Weiss, of course, I've exposed as being a flat earth shill and just an obvious shill. He also won't admit that he is Jewish. And this is a minor thing. It's really funny because I didn't even care that he was Jewish. He just wouldn't admit that he was. And then PK denies that he is Jewish in this. And then this supposed eye patch man, How I See the World, who will never show his eye, even though it's not. I have a feeling it's just for sympathy, and this guy's just kind of, he's full of shit. I've called him out a few times. I call him Fake Eye Patch Guy. I've left a lot of comments on his videos. So you have Russian vids who I've called out, Fake Eye Patch Guy, How I See It, that I've called out, PK that I've called out as an actor, and it says David. Yeah, PK that I've called out as an actor, David Weiss, who I've called out as just being a flat earth shill, who's obviously a flat earth shill. And then, of course, Nathan Stoltman, or whatever his name is, who I've also exposed as being a shill. And they're all just, it just happens that they all group together and create this video. So anyway, without further ado, listen to this.
Back to it, what I said about acting, IMDb, every Tom, Dick and Harry was it, but I made a special video about him because he was pointed out in an article, can't remember off the top of my head, that he's an actor, no big deal, but the fact is, last year, in his IMDb... so you didn't get the shits, good, all right. So,
what happened?
Let me finish. When you go on IMDb now, when you go back, this guy had a screenshot of his filmography, they call it, all his credits, and it shows 5 credits. And his last one, he did a thing on, it was called Orlando, something shooting something. Orlando something shooting up, whatever it was. It was only a 5-minute something, I don't know what it was, but if you look at IMDb now, that's gone. And that doesn't happen. If you've been listed in a movie or whatever, in a TV series or show, that stays there forever. Why would they take his name off? But the fact is, the shooting up has got nothing to do with shooting. It's got something to do with pharmaceutical shit. It was apparently someone that worked, I don't know what it was, but that is important. Not the fact that he's an actor. I don't want to get in that shit, but every Tom, Dick and Harry's an actor.
Yeah, stop talking about the actors, man. Enough of that.
Hold on, I'm an actor.
Hang on.
Failed actor, COINTELPRO shill. Sorry.
Hang on, we're going to stop it.
Hey, what's up, Robin? How are you doing?
Good to hear your voice.
I'll tell you what for a reason. You'll find, I'll speak about it in a second, what I want to really start the show with. Nathan, all right, I'm going to start it now. Now that we've got a few people here. As you know, in the last couple of weeks, there's this been fucking this idiot. Dave's had a debate with him a couple of days ago. We all know him as the Paul Still Service. Dave, you might call him the Poo Still Service. I'll call him the Poo Jabber Service. This fucking imbecile has come from nowhere and decided to try to hang me. Hang me with absolute fucking ludicrous bullshit garbage about me and my personal life. I don't know why he's got the shits. I think it goes back to a video I made on Gabby Giffords because I didn't give him credit for using some of his footage, which was all over the YouTube anyway, which I did mention his name in the video, saying what a great work he's done. But anyway, he decides to fucking make videos about me. And what upsets me most is not him, the fact that good people, I'll name one. A guy called Kernsey74, I don't know if you guys know him. He's the guy that put me on to the truth bombing. He made the suggestion 5 months ago, whatever. I thought it was great. I started the truth bombing. Kernsey74, I read a comment, I don't know, it was on his one Poo Jabber's videos. He doubted me. He fucking doubted Dennis Kearns in 74. Don't ever come back to my channel again. Don't ever go near my channel. If you doubt me for one fucking second that I am not genuine, and that goes for anyone else, I just want to clear this with Poo Jabber service. I don't even want to talk about this bullshit about me being a supposed actor. I am just a nobody extra that has a bit of fun. In 8 years of doing this, I've probably earned about $5,000 in 8 years. The best thing about being an extra, 90% of the time you do nothing. You sit there and talk to people. And if you knew me, the thing I talk about is the shit that goes on in the world. The last job I did 2 months ago, I was on a jury. The guy next to me, his ear was bashed for 8 hours. All I did, I was talking about this and this and this and this, but he was wrapped. He learned so much from me. I hope he learned from me. Anyway, this extra shit is beyond the fucking joke. And anyone, you got that future Vince 10, I don't know who he is. He made comment after comment on Poo Jabber's videos that he busted me last year when this translation shit happened. No one busted me. I'm not a big head. If I was an actor, I would have made a big deal. I'm just a shit extra. There's nothing to fucking brag about. I've made a few little videos about the shitty little jobs I've done, and I just point them two out. The one with Nicolas Cage, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, when I wasn't even on YouTube, 200 of us in 2 days in Melbourne were filming this. I didn't even know what the stupid fucking film was about. I didn't even know who Nicolas Cage was when I went there. We did this outside scene where he pulled up in a car, me being half a brain wiser than the rest. I thought I'd walk side by side with him so I'd get my head on the 5 seconds of fucking glory. This idiot Poo Jabber makes some fucking video that I knew all about knowing and all this and fucking, because this movie's all about this shit. I don't know, they haven't even watched this shit, but absolute shit.
Talk about this. Listen, he can't.
Listen, let me finish, Ravi. You don't like that.
Every time we talk about this.
Because I'm fucking sick of idiots making comments. Oh, he's an actor. Good people questioning. Oh, you've been exposed by the Poo Jabber service. You're an actor. I'm not a fucking actor. An extra is classified as an actor. He is a nobody. Mums and dads. That's it about the acting. The other thing I want to point out is he's calling me out to be a Jew. He's calling me out to be a Jew. All right, Dave, I'll ask you. You're a Jew. You're Jewish, aren't you, David?
Peter, you gotta calm down about this. He's not.
All right, I know. I get emotional.
Just settle down, my friend. It's
all
okay.
right.
He proved
David,
himself.
I'll finish it in a minute. David, are you Jewish? David, you admit you're Jewish, okay? You've told me you're Jewish. Big fucking deal. I'm not a racist. You're Jewish, big deal. You got nothing to hide. If I was Jewish, I'd tell everyone I'm Jewish. I could prove right now I'm not Jewish. I could get my mother to say that she's not Jewish. I was brought up as a Catholic. I was born here in Melbourne from parents who came over from Ukraine after World War II with my older brother who was 1 or 2 years old. Born and bred in Melbourne. Raised as my parents are very religious Catholics. I was brought up as a Catholic. Went to church just about twice a week for that many years as a kid. Last time I've been to church was when my dad died a few years ago. Before that was 35 years ago when I was married, went to a Church of England. We were married in the Church of England. I am not fucking Jewish, right? This is getting a bit crude. David, to be a Jew, you have to be circumcised. Is that a fact?
Peter, you gotta let it go, man.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
You
gotta let it go. You're
any one of you idiots that
killing
think I'm
yourself.
Jewish, put your money up. I'll bet you dollar for dollar. I'll even fucking strip naked in front of the cameras to show that I am not circumcised. All right? That's what I'm going to do. Anyone that wants to fucking put a dollar up, the other thing is a shill. If I am a fucking shill, anyone that believes that I'm a shill, fuck off my channel. Don't ever come back. I know I can't block you because of YouTube.
Peter, settle down, man.
Hold on, man. Let me ask you a question, Peter. Don't you think that when you start a YouTube channel, you're going to have this kind of stuff happen? People are going to call you names.
I had no idea. I just made videos.
But you know that comes with the territory.
Look, I don't mind the trolls attacking me because I know they're fucking trolls, the idiots. But when I got someone supposedly, forget about the Canadian disease, that's history. I don't want to even talk about it. But when this postal service, supposedly someone, even you admit it, Dave, he was someone that you thought was good. I had no contact with this guy. He made a few comments on my videos and everything. It had nothing to do with this guy. But for someone like that to attack me is what shits me. Like I said, it's not him so much. It's the good people like Currency 74 and others that used to be subscribed to me who fucking believe this idiot. So we'll end it at that. And the other thing, sock puppet accounts. I've got no sock accounts. I say this, I am. I'll go and make a comment under PK Truth or PK22. I won't go under fucking bullshit stock names like him and others use. That's enough from me. Lifting the veil, Nathan, the reason I brought you on, I didn't know, you do acting, and you actually had acting roles where you spoke. Why did this guy attack you? You don't have to comment because I know you don't want to talk about it. Why did this guy attack you? And what do you think about this acting fucking bullshit?
Peter, he left a half an hour ago.
No, he's still
I'm here. I got kicked out.
There you are.
Something happened and I couldn't reconnect. But I went through a similar stage, but then I realized something happened to him. He's just not the same person anymore, either literally or at least figuratively. There's no reason in that thing that we call the postal service. And as far as I know, I would be cautious as to whether those people who say they're abandoning you, who said they liked you before. I got a lot of that going on. It's a lot of people just messing with us. Like all of my comments now, I don't get regular comments. I just come through, and I just get AI bots. I don't know if you guys have caught on to those yet, but they have these really smart AI bots. They just fuck with you. That's all they do all day.
Hello, good guys. So there's PK Truth for you. See, he's lucky he's not in the flat Earth scene. God, the half the shit that's been said back and forth between certain people in this scene. God, you see the way he goes off when he gets when someone says he's Jewish. The way he flew off the handle. Even David Weiss was like, "Whoa, calm down, man, calm down." Fucking. It's like he threw everyone under the bus just to get his point over. So that was the last straw with PK Truth and me. I used to take some of his stuff, but like all of them, Russian Vids, PK Truth, Jungle Surfer, the list goes on and on and on. These alternative news, they do speak a lot of truth, and there is a lot of fakery, but they add to their own spin as well. Russian Vids is really religious. He pushes, he's quite religious. And the whole Jungle Surfer, everyone's a tranny with Jungle Surfer. Everyone's a tranny. Anyway, guys, there was something else I was going to mention. I was looking into the Scarabray again, the Orkney Islands, and the villages, the 5,000-year-old villages, and I was thinking about the Celtic culture spreading through Europe, and I started thinking, what would make a whole civilization move through Europe to probably the Middle East? Then I started thinking, and it started going back to flat Earth. You all like this, guys. I started thinking about that Mount Meru and the Aurora and the Hyper Borealis and all this stuff up north that we're not sure about. And I started looking at old maps, and I started finding near Ireland, High Brazil, an island. And I just wonder, guys, I wonder if, like, maybe 5,000 years ago, maybe 2,000, 3,000 years ago, or maybe 10,000, I'm not sure. Maybe there was an island out there on the Atlantic, and it was volcanic, and maybe erupted. The smoke lingered over Western Europe for maybe longer than the people could survive, so the people had to move. And maybe this is how you've got this Celtic culture going through Europe, because you'd think if all civilizations like the Fertile Crescent and Babylon, and if you think about all these cultures, Egypt, that was supposed to have started, but they kind of, it's like it seemed to be the Celtic culture went that way, and they went. Did it go back again? Did the Celtic culture leave the British Islands, go through Europe, maybe as far as the Middle East, and then go back again? I'm not sure. And then when they went back, there was different people there. It's like the time that it took for that culture to go all the way to the Middle East, breed, really mix, probably come back a different peoples. This is maybe where the tribes come from, these lost tribes, the Exodus. It still gets me thinking, because I think the Bible, even though the stories, I don't think they're literal. I think it's about massive migration of people. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of volcano, because they've got them in Greenland right now, active. Iceland, they're really volcanic up that way. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was a volcano and maybe the island sunk after the big eruption. The islands just sunk. And I was looking at all the old maps, and God, High Brazil was in a lot of maps in the Atlantic, High Brazil. And you can still check it out now. It's called, what's it called again? Oh, I wrote it down. The Porcupine Bank. I was checking other places in the North Sea in Scotland to see if there's any sunken islands. And there's quite a lot of ridges and stuff that could have been islands maybe a couple of thousand years ago. Through volcanic eruptions, movement, they've maybe sunk, maybe certain ones have risen. Because the maps have got this island. And I'll screen share it anyway, guys, but I hope you are having a good night. Like I say. There's a Bible story for the account of the British. Flat Earth British filtered, west coast of France and Nova Scots, all kelp jed. Yep. Since Camillo very true jed of the coast of Ireland. Yes, Dogger, and let me tell you about it. Here, I've got something for you, Martin. Mu sama maun jarum ki konas Olexa. That's Estonian, by the way. That's the Estonian national anthem, or the beginning of it. So I'll share some research I found about, because I started really thinking that there could have been some kind of Mount Meru or Phantom Island. There must have been something. I started looking at, what was it I was searching for in this? It was missing ancient islands. What did I type in for it? Missing ancient Scottish islands, and Thule. Thule is one. This is another island that was on the maps for a long time and suddenly disappeared. It was, I think it was meant to be between Greenland and the Orkneys, or something like between the islands and the Greenland. It's not there anymore. This is it again, tile. But I found High Brazil because I started noticing a wee island off of Brazil in the ancient maps. Anyway, I'll go straight down. This was it here, High Brazil, and this is supposed to be it here. High Brazil, the legendary Phantom Island of Ireland. High Brazil was an island which appeared on ancient maps as early as 1325 and into the 1800s. On most maps, it was located roughly 321 kilometres, 200 miles off the west coast of Ireland in the North Atlantic Ocean. One of the most distinctive geographical features of High Brazil on those maps is that it often appears as a circle with a channel or a river running east to west across the diameter. And that reminds me of the Mappa Mundi The Mappa Mundi, when you see it's like it's split in half. Stories about the island have circulated throughout Europe for centuries, with tales that it was the promised land of saints or a paradise where an advanced civilization lived. In Irish myth, it was said to be clouded and mist, except for one day every 7 years when it became visible, but still could not be reached. So this is it here on this map. Brazil. High Brazil. And people, I don't think this is anything to do with the South American Brazil. It says here, High Brazil, also called High Brazil or High Brazil, High Brisel, Brazil, is derived from the name Brisel, meaning the High King of the world in Celtic history. I think this is wrong, guys. I think this bit of information is wrong. I think Hibernia. This is Hibernia. Ireland wasn't known as Ireland, it was known as Hibernia. The Scottish islands close by are known as the Hebrides, Hybe, and High Brazil. So I think this is more to do with Hybe, like the word Hybe. I think they're getting this wrong with the meaning of the High King of the world in Celtic history. I think this is more to do with Hibernia. Anyway, this is it again. In 1436, it showed up as a Sola de Brazil in the Venetian map by a cartographer, Andrea Bianco, attached to one of the larger islands of a group in the Atlantic. This was identified for a time with the Mater Islands. It would show up again in 1595 on the Ortelius map of Europe and Europa Mercator map, and occasionally show up in the slightly different locations on different maps over time. This is it again. That's a different one. This is a different map, but it's here again. Crazy, eh? It looks like it's a wee bit higher here. It looks like it should be there on that one. Looks higher up. High Brazil here, simply Brazil. Close up of one of the Ortelius map, and I started thinking, guys, was this just a myth? Was this just like some kind of myth? But I started looking into what's under the water here, and I found quite a few surprises, guys. I did. Expeditions in the search of High Brazil. In 1480, John Jay Jr. departed from Bristol, England, on a journey to find the fabled island, only to come back empty-handed after spending 2 months at sea. In 1481, 2 more ships, the Trinity and the George, departed from Bristol on an expedition to find High Brazil with no success either. Interestingly, in 1497, Spanish diplomat Pedro de Ayala reported to the Catholic monarchs of Spain that John Cabot, the first European to visit North America since the Vikings, had discovered in the past by men from Bristol who found Brazil. This implied someone from one of the Bristol expeditions had actually managed to find it. Interesting. And I was reading this, I was like, this could be just, because you can see the articles here at the side, it could be one of these daft, these stupid sort of stories that you hear. But the maps don't lie, I suppose. Over all that time, why would they include an island there if it wasn't there? Over hundreds of years. Nearly 2 centuries later, Scottish sea captain John Nisbet claimed to have spotted High Brazil on his voyage from France to Ireland in 1674. He is said to have sent a party of 4 ashore, where the sailors spent an entire day on the island. And this goes about seeing large black rabbits and magicians. There they claimed to have met a wise old man who provided them with gold and silver. Strangely, the captain said the island was inhabited by large black rabbits and a mysterious magician who lived in a large stone castle by himself. A follow-up expedition was led by Captain Alexander Johnson, who was also claimed to have found High Brazil, confirming Nisbet's findings. In the following years, High Brazil would retreat into anonymity as attempts to find it failed again. Mapmakers started leaving it off most nautical charts. When it was last observed on map in 1865, it was simply noted as Brazil Rock. The last documented sighting of High Brazil was made in 1872 by Robert O'Flaherty and T.G. Westrup. Westrup claimed to have visited the island on 3 previous occasions and was so captivated by it that he brought his family with him to see it in person. They all witnessed it appear out of nowhere, only to see it vanish again before their very eyes. So you can, reading this, there are many myths and legends surrounding High Brazil, and some of them the island is home of the god of the Irish lore, and others is inhabited by priests or monks rumored to hold ancient knowledge, which allowed them to create an advanced civilization. Something that St. Brendan's famous voyage to find the Promised Land may have been High Brazil. So I was reading into that. I thought it's nice. It's a nice story. It's a nice story. We all like these sort of stories like Atlantis. But I thought it might have some truth to it. Every myth starts with a kind of truth before it goes through the Chinese whispers and ends up total bullshit. But it usually starts with some kind of truth. So I think there could have been an island back here. And I think there could have been a few islands over the time, up near Scotland as well, that have vanished. They could have been volcanic. They could have been the main reason why people in Scotland had to move through Europe. If you look at Skara Brae, you can't fake that, guys. It's a village that's got like thousands of years of turf, mud and turf on top of it. If you research Skara Brae, it's amazing. It's older than the pyramids. It's older than Stonehenge, and it's up in Scotland. And it looked like they had quite a civilized society. There's loads of tools and stuff found up there, combs, jewellery, things like that. It's strange that a civilization could just disappear. But I don't think they disappeared. I think they spread throughout Europe. And maybe this volcano could have been Mount Meru. Maybe this island could have been Mount Meru that vanished. And maybe the volcano caused a catastrophe, a bit like Mount Vesuvius in Italy, when it created a massive cloud in Pompeii. Maybe there was something similar in the north, a longer time ago. I'm not sure, guys, but it's interesting to think that maybe this is how, like, the Celtic gene, because this part of the world is where all the redheads are, and the red hair gene is spread out throughout the whole of Europe, right into Africa. Some of the Egyptian pharaohs had the red hair gene. So it makes you wonder how that gene got so far, and what made the people leave. And is the Bible connected? Is the story of the Exodus connected to these peoples moving through Europe? Because you can't take everything in the Bible as literal fact. I think a lot of it's metaphors. Anyway, I started looking. I was like, right, let's get serious here. Enough of these fucking hocus pocus, wizards and rabbits. Let's see if there was actually anything scientifically found. And what did I come across? There's a thing called the Porcupine Bank. And it's a really shallow, and they reckon it was an island. They reckon this was High Brazil. Let's see. Have a wee look at Porcupine Bank. But this is what this. I think this Porcupine Bank could have been High Brazil, and it's like a really shallow part. It's It's almost like a ridge. This is it here, Porcupine Bank. And guys, that looks like the same bloody island. This is the top. It's like you can see it's like a giant mound, but this is the top of it. There's a couple of other ones around Scotland as well. This was one I found in Scotland called Rosemary Bank. I thought, I wonder if there's any volcanoes close to the Orkney Islands at some point, and maybe the island sunk. And I started looking, and there's quite a lot. There's one called Rosemary Ridge. And this is a picture right here. The Rosemary Bank, that's what it is, the Rosemary Bank. But it's a seamount approximately 120 kilometres west of Scotland, located in the Rockall Trough in the north-east Atlantic. It was discovered in 1930 by the survey vessel HMS Rosemary, from which it takes its name. The feature originated about 70 million years ago as a result of volcanic activity. Rosemary Bank rises to approximately 2,000 metres at its highest point, being 300 metres below sea level. The seabed immediately surrounding it is approximately 2,300 metres below sea level. Around its baseline, a thin moat, where the sea bottom is at a lower depth than the surrounding terrain. I'm trying to get a decent image of this Rosemary Ridge where it is. It's like up near it's in the North Sea, but it's like a sunken volcano. Is it here? Here it is here. So this is like a sunken volcano. This bank, you've seen it earlier. The shape of it, there it is there. That's the underwater footage. That's a photograph of it. It's a giant ridge. And it's here. So who knows, guys? There could have been islands here that we never knew of. Maybe volcanic islands, and maybe this is what made the spread of Scots, Europeans. Like the smoke could have affected the whole of Britain, and made the whole of Britain and Ireland move into Spain, across the Mediterranean. It could have even brought on an ice age. Ice ages are still, people are not sure about ice ages and what caused the ice ages, and who knows? These things, like, for all we know, this could have been the reason for the end of Skara Brae. This could have been the reason for the migration of Europeans into other parts, because they probably couldn't live in darkness. You know what I mean? So I just find this interesting, all these sunken islands, and this is a good thing about flat Earth. It does get you thinking about other things. This is the seamount, this Rosemary Bank again, is located in the deep waters of Western Scotland, northeast of the Rockall Trough, an extinct volcano. The Rosemary Bank seamount towers over 1,000 metres above the seafloor and is one of the only 3 seamounts present in Scottish seas. So there's only 3 of these massive volcanoes. It's 2,000. Now, how is it 1,000 metres above the seafloor? Is that fucking huge? That was a volcano. That was a big one. But obviously they reckon it was maybe a lot older than maybe man. They probably reckon this was created when the Earth was being created or some shit. But do they really know these time frames? It almost looks like a face. The deep sea sponges, Rosemary. I think it's protected as well, this place, because of the sea life that's around it. Sponge and different sea life. So, aye. There's it's like a giant volcano buried under the sea in Scotland. Obviously, they'll say that this volcano was active millions of years ago, but who knows? Who knows? Aye, so I'm going to have a wee look at these things as well. I'll keep an eye on flat Earth, but I'm going to look at migrations of peoples, cultures. These things are important as well. I'll shut all these things down. Right, who's still here anyway? I think it's been nearly 2 hours now, so I'll think about wrapping this one up. But thanks for staying with me and listening. Shit, I knocked it off my head. Right, who's still here? Frankie Max, Jeff Stewart, Timaeus, Cheech, Rock Lover, Doherty, Chris Rock, LMAO, Cult of Jed with his own chant. Hundreds around Scotland, over 1,000. That's Irish Klets. I feel funny. Jed, what the hell did you do to us? Me thinks Jed would be the grandest person to have drinks with in a pub. Thanks, since Camillo. YouTube, Pedo Islands. Jesus, man. Flight of British. Yes, you mate. Flight of British. Jed knows so much. No, I didn't know so much, man. I'm just showing you what I'm researching, and maybe it'll lead you to something, because like I said, you guys talk about Mount Meru and you just get me thinking. I don't think everything that comes out of Flat Earth is bullshit, guys. I really fucking don't. And if anything, I've got more in common with flat earthers than people that believe in the fucking globe and NASA and moon landings and all that shit. I've got an affinity with you guys. I can't just break it. Sorry. Right. You know, like to chat. Good stuff. I like to see it. It's been clean. It's no one's getting angry. Everything. Flat Earth British film. Someone needs to let Martin's other channeling. YouTube 2017, the year of the baller, not Martin. Ooh. Flat Earth British. Yes. Laurie Gale. Want Jet to do that again. Chris Rock. What's that island called that disappeared? Not High Brazil. Well, here, guys, I've got a few islands written down, right? So if you've got a pen handy, I found a few missing islands, should we say, or sunken islands or hidden islands. One was called High Brazil. Another one was called Frisland. Frisland. F-R-I-S-L-A-N-D. Frisland. The other one was called Thule or Tile. Thule or Tile. And there's another one that has got a really cool name. It's called Arcus. Arcus. So we've got High Brazil, Frisland, Thule, Arcus. Frankie Mac, what's going on, fair hearers? It's High Brazil. Flat of Brez or Jed, I'm so loving this. Chris Rock, this island's much closer to Greenland. Can't remember. The Lie Ohio. I think Jed should open up all his shows with that chant. Friesland. You never know what Jed is going to come up with. Yes, Ohio, that was neat. He thinks it's what Socrates talked about. Atlantis. It could be. I think all this talk about Atlantis, like we say, guys, there's myths and there's stories, but every myth has a truth behind it. There has to have been a reality to begin the myth. Like something real happens, and then over time it gets distorted. It's like Chinese whispers. But at the beginning of that myth, there would have been some kind of truth. And things like Atlantis and that, it does capture my imagination. If Flat Earth doesn't capture my imagination, I might as well just get sunken into the islands. Tazarian talks about it in T. Tefi, the Egyptian. Scotia. Friesland, the weather controller. Yes, Ute mate. He may have just baptized all of us. Why is Greenland called Greenland? Because it used to be covered in grass? Ask Rock Lover. Laurie Gale, lol. Shit. I'm so high up. Right. The ginger bear is Russia. Thank you, Jeff, says Laurie Gale. Frankie Max. Yes, Frankie Max. It's spiritual fact. Sense Camilla. Can't wait for the house of cards to come tumbling down. It just takes one mistake. No wonder they never sleep. For someone who will be there when you make your mistake. James Doherty. Look up Welsh historian Alan Westland for all interesting British real history. Frankie Max. Porcupine Hedgehog. St. Nick. Sonic Masonic. Sans Camillo. We're all waiting. FE Top Brass. Muscular Rock Lover. The island of Sirte was a volcanic island that popped off Iceland in 1964. That's interesting, Muscle Car. Laurie Gale. Oh, they lie, Ohio. We're the new top brass. Damn it. We're no top brass, guys. We're top gold. We're not going to be brass. We're gold. We're top gold. Right. Give him enough ropes and it will happen, says Laurie. One slip of the word. Frankie Max. Cinema, you are on it. Laurie Gale, we see it already. Since Camilla. Oh, for sure, Laurie. Since Camillo, very true. Jeff Stewart. So there's something. The New Zealand earthquake that lifted the sea floor 9 feet. Angel Raven 444. I thought batshit crazy was rare for horse-loving women. Since Camillo, I just can't wait for the base to see it, to wake up and question sheeple. Listen, unless you can play Flugo like a dream, you can't pipe up. Ha ha, says Frankie Max. Laura Gale. Wow, Jeff. Damn. Jeff Stewart. It happens. It happens. It happens, says Jeff Stewart. It happens. God damn it. Just did. There is a floating island somewhere. Laurie Gale, that's huge, 9 feet. Angel Raven, Belize. Laurie Gale, I feel like I'm in a classroom, very cool. James Doherty, landscape changes all the time, sometimes big, sometimes small. The Great Flood changed the world more than anything on the flat earth. Well, there we go again. Maybe there's this catastrophe that's linked to Noah's Ark. Maybe this eruption in the Atlantic, maybe this caused a great flood. And so this is where I think the Bible could be talking about certain events in history, but wrapping it up in a story at the same time. So there is truth in the Noah's Ark, but there's not. I don't believe all the animals went one by one. All this stuff there must be some kind of truth to it as well. Like there was a catastrophe. Maybe in Noah's eyes, he's the only one that survived, but maybe there was plenty of people that survived the catastrophe. Maybe he was just paranoid. Maybe Noah was just a paranoid bum. Maybe it was like that hurricane that just skiffed Florida earlier. Was it a couple of months ago? Maybe Noah was just a shitbag. And everybody survived. Everybody's having cups of tea and is like, where the fuck have you been, Noah? I've been out at sea. We were here the whole time, having cups of tea. Yeah, bam. Right, anyway. D-Truth, Jed, do you come with subtitles? Richard Clark, how did I explain how Jeff is on a panel and I'm chatting in Jeff's hangout? Eh? Yes, indeed, Martin. Since Camilla, the deluge. Since Camilla, for sure. Merck Tyler, hiya, Clark. Merck Tyler, it's me, you, lol. Flat Earth British, yes, there was. We are a species in amnesia. Jeff Stewart, I remember being accused of being Tim Osmond 2 years ago. D-Truth, lol. YouTube, hiya, Clark. Since Camilla, no, was a fiddling Tom. Richard Clark, lol, hello, you, lol. Flat Earth British, 2 years ago, hee, long time ago now. Well, guys, thanks for coming tonight. These have been lovely. These have been great. These have been great in chat. I've just skipped over. Everyone's been good. I hope that you can maybe take something away from what I've talked about tonight. I hope you look into the tomfoolery of the International Space Stage, the Paul Stoll Service, Deep Thoughts, Validation Boy, Laurie Gale as well. Laurie Gale's not a big researcher or a big thing, but she's getting into it now. She was just a vlogger before. She just liked her nice, gentle vlogs, but she's getting stuck into the cults and all that now. So I'd even say check out Laurie's channel for some real truth seeking. Like I showed you guys, I'm open to flat Earth, but until the lunar eclipse can be debunked and the rotation of the stars, and it's not the rotation of the star. Well, that's what the argument is the Earth spinning or is it the heavens that are spinning? Well, guys, I just use Occam's razor and think it's just the Earth spinning. And until this can be disproven, until people can say that the stars don't, and show me proof, because I can watch them myself, and I can find plenty amateur research to prove it. So, Star Trails, Lunar Eclipse, come back, guys, make videos, beyond the curve, state your claim. I know you don't stand by models, which is lame. I don't know why anybody would even start conversations. I'm not a flat earther, and I'm looking for missing islands and stuff like that. Like, you can't see it never existed. Well, anyway, guys, I hope you've had a great new year. I'm going to shut this down. Take care.